Good day. My name is Lebum Tembu, and this is Africa Talks Business, live at the CEO Connect Forum at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. We are currently joined by Ms. Sakina Kamwendo. Ms. Kamwendo, thank you so much for your time.
Absolute pleasure, Lebu.
I'm curious to know, what do you hope will come out of today?
Well, I'm hoping that business will actually hear the clarion call from all the women, all the organizations that were present here today, that they actually need to dial into the actual plight of women as far as gender-based violence is concerned, as far as equity, but beyond equity, equal opportunities for women in the workspace. You know, the gender equality, we spoke about the wage gap. There's so many things. And one hopes that business will actually really do something to change the narrative that currently exists.
And I spoke to Steve Kiptonis, and he was mentioning that it's not enough to just talk about it. You have to do. That is incredibly important, you know, putting action to your words. Why do you think it's so important that employers should be addressing this issue of GBV and gender inequality?
Because for one, we spend most of our lives, if we are employed, in our workspaces, not at home. Yeah. And therefore, when we come to work, we come as a complete person. We don't just come as Sakina or Lebu the worker.
Yeah.
In this space. You bring everything, every facet that is you comes to work with you. So it's important that we have the well-being of our employees at heart, because if they are good, if they are in a happy space, they are more productive. So it is in everybody's interest, especially in the employer's interest, to make sure that we address the issues that matter so that we can derive the maximum benefit from our employees.
And I was having this conversation with, obviously with Richie, with Ignatius, but I'm curious to hear your perspective on this. What steps do you think companies should take to ensure that there is equal representation for both men and women in the workspace, especially within leadership spaces?
Well, it's simple. The boys' club needs to open up.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Because that's where the problem lies. You know, companies need to stop giving us pretty presentations and, regurgitating figures. We need real action. So it's not good enough to have a policy in place. We always complain about that with government. The same holds true for business. Yeah. We need to start walking the talk as far as those policies are concerned. So the boys' club needs to open up and understand that we are not here to make things worse. If anything, we are here to work together. We need to understand that we are all advocates of progress, and therefore we can all only benefit if this goes well. And, given the ratio of men to women, not just in this country, the world over, women should be occupying more spaces in the top echelons of business. Why aren't they?
No, 1,000%. How do I phrase this? What steps do you think companies should take to ensure that there is a measure of education and development to ensure that women are able to progress within these workspaces and they're able to take up space within these leadership spaces? What steps do you think they should be taking in regards to education and development?
Well, I'm going to answer it slightly differently by saying that, because I said companies are good at formulating policy.
Yeah.
Like government, very good at formulating policy, puts it in a nice, neat, beautiful document, but it means nothing unless you can action it. So let me answer it this way. Companies need to become honest and authentic in their conversations about transformation wholesale. So when we talk about gender equality, companies need to start being honest about whether they are ready, because a lot of them are not ready. A lot of companies will give us beautiful presentations and slideshows about what they tell us they are doing, but there are stories underneath those slides, that we are not hearing. It's okay to say we employ 1 million women, but I need to know, what is your retention rate? What has it been in the last 2 years of those 1 million women? Is it 1 million women who've been there for 5, 10, 20 years? Is it 1 million women of whom 500,000 are new Why did the other 500,000 leave? You know, so we need to get down and stop just talking to pretty pictures. We need to be real about the change that we are trying to drive.
And to touch on that further, what steps do you think companies should take to ensure more equal pay within the workspace?
It's simple. Equal work, equal pay. Why is it even a conversation? If I do the same job as Lebo, why am I not getting paid the same wage as Lebo?
Exactly.
So these things are not difficult. All they need is someone who is honest and authentic and wants to do the right thing to say, okay, this is it. If this is what we are paying for said position, it doesn't matter whether it's Lebo or Sakina, this is what we are paying for that job. Simple.
Yeah.
We don't have to complicate it. I think, and therein lies part of the problem. We want to come up with all sorts of, theories and academic language and get ourselves tied into all sorts of things, and that's why we end up doing nothing.
Exactly. So in closing, who do you believe should be using this particular implementation tool and guide?
Everybody.
Everyone.
Everybody. But when you say use, they must actually implement. Don't take it so that you can go and tick off on a box to say, yeah, we actually went through what training, blah, 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 and it doesn't really translate into anything. Again, it has to be honest, it has to be sincere, authentic from the heart. That's the only way you're going to drive the change.
And I remember Tiki Barnard, she actually mentioned something very interesting whilst I was in there. She spoke about how when she first started this, there wasn't a lot of support. And I think what she meant by that was a lack of support from male figures. And, and I think quite a few people were talking about how encouraging it is to see more men being in these spaces, having that conversation, because it's a very, very important conversation to have, especially in the workplace. Ms. Kamwendo, thank you so much for your time.
I just want to say, I go back to authentic engagement. It's no good having more men amplify a message that they don't really take to heart. They actually have to drive the change, not just say it because this is the new buzz phrase. So I'll leave you with that.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Donkey? Was I the offbeat one again? I'm always the offbeat person.
No, I think you did amazing. But you're a natural at this. I mean, this is just like
Another day.
it's another day in the off. It's like